Langer, wide they go through Walters and Lockyer, inside to Renouf. Renouf has got a hat-trick!
Back for Thorne, then for Renouf! Renouf! Renouf, he'll score! Oh, the Prince! The newfound Prince of Centres!
Well, Steve Renouf, no one could score tries like you. It's just you could score them from anywhere, at any time, with that superior speed and class. How did you turn it into an art form?
Yeah, I think when I first came to the Broncos as a 17-year-old, I came out of Mergen and Wandai playing up there, and I scored tries. And so for me, it was all about Wayne Bennett trying to bring that forward into the Broncos. And I'd get interviewed, and I said, well, that was just my job. So it was really my job. I was in the team virtually to score tries.
Well, you did it very well. If that was your job, you're still the record holder for the Broncos. I don't know if you've had a look at the leaderboard. I think Lockie and maybe Dell, they're never going to catch you. They're about 20 behind. But just the highlights reels you gave us over the years, so many to choose from. But tell us about the try that changed your life.
Oh, yes, the 92, SFS against St George, and it was just one of those days, you know, and I hadn't been doing much. Rabs Warren called it so well. You know, haven't seen much of him today, but now look at him go, because I don't usually get nervous, but I was actually very nervous for that grand final, and hadn't seen much of the ball, and, you know, sort of went into my shell a bit. And people don't realise, and I've sort of talked about it, when you see Willie Kahn go back and get the ball out and that effort of his, that was our bread and butter. We did that all during that year, but we didn't always score off it. You know, we'd go wide and we'd make a few yards, and it was just. And then you see the action where Kevy runs in and pushes Carrot out, because our directions as the outside backs were, get your butts back there. Or use another word, Wayne. He said, get your butts back there, just in case Kevy now sees something. So that's exactly what happened. And it was two big passes out to me, and the rest is history.
He's back into the field of play. That's why he's the number one. Langer away for Renouf. Renouf, we haven't seen much of him today. Now take a look at him as he crosses the halfway. They won't catch him. He's heading for the corner, and he's over. Renouf makes it 22 points to 4.
For you, it would have been such an incredible moment, all come together, a lifetime leading up to this. And where did your thoughts go?
Yeah, because I made the break and I thought, legs, just get me there. And I got about halfway, and I knew my mum was in the crowd. My dad had passed earlier on in the year, so he wasn't there. And I just thought, I knew she was there. Apparently, my mum's pretty quiet, but she jumped up on the seat at SFS and just sprayed everyone's beers over it. And she doesn't drink. She's like... Anyway, so Donna Lynch and all the guys are saying, your mother's just spilled beer all over us, but they loved it. And she got so excited, you know, and I flew her and one of my sisters down to watch the game.
What a moment. And what was the after party like? Was mum and sister all involved as well?
No. As I said, mum's pretty quiet on that front. I did get to see her. And then we get whisked off. But coming back to Brisbane was amazing. And I was fortunate enough, I got to sit with the Winfield Cup. So we had a seat on the plane. So I was a lucky one to sit with it, flying back from Sydney. I remember carrying it up the gantry at the old airport, and I was with Mick Hancock, and because we couldn't see anything, we just hear this hum. And as we got closer and closer to the exit, it was just like the whole airport was full of supporters, and we had no idea. Every time I talk about this, we get goosebumps, and so we shuffled our way through the crowd and made our way to the bus. It was so great, and then the old airport drive was full. So we drove that, and we didn't realise that was going to be the whole night. So we go into City Hall here in Brizzy, and the whole complex is packed. And we're young, you know, we're going, look, I'm 22, going, wow, how good is this? And that was it. That was just the start of it. And I think there's footage of Alfie getting, you know, body surfed over at the club. I think he made it at the end, end up in jocks or something. So
by his own doing.
He had my shirt. But yeah, it was just one of the, it was never to be repeated. Even though we went back to back, it wasn't quite. It was still great to go back to back, but just to do that for the first time ever, and what it meant to Brisbane, but what it meant to Queensland was amazing.
Because prior to then, we'd had Origin, obviously, and big celebrations for State of Origin, and then in '88 we got the Broncos.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this watershed moment, the Premiership trophy comes to Brisbane, and you guys are the kings. And I think it was an incredible moment from a sporting perspective, but also culturally. All of a sudden, this was a bit of more of an identity for every rugby league fan north of the Tweed, and you were front and centre of it. What an incredible moment for a young man.
Yeah, you realise then when you talk about profile and stature in the game, it just got launched through the roof. And so the Broncos did so well to control that for us. Wayne was really big on that. So they did a great job, and you know, it wasn't just me, it was all the rest of the boys. And so for us, we loved it. We just rode the wave. You know, we won more games than we lost, and that's what kept most of the players here is, you know, I won't just say, do you want to go to a club that doesn't win as much as we do? Simple, stay here.
Just looking at a list of the names that you began with and finished with, a kid from the country, and you're in the greatest team of that era. Lewis, Langer, Walters, Mile, Khan, Lazarus, Gilmeister, and then by the end of your career, you're winning premierships with Lockyer and Tallis and Webke and Petro Sivanasiva and Brad Thorne. You had this incredible golden era span of the two most magnificent periods of the Brisbane Broncos. That is an exceptional roll call of some of the contemporaries.
Yeah, look, and you think about that you started with your idols, Wally Lewis, Gene Miles, same position. I love Gino and Mel, but Mel wasn't there. But yeah, and then to go across that, do what we did, and then towards the end of our career, get to play with, as you say, guys like Darren Lockyer and Brad Thorne. Just amazing. Who would have thought? And so I always have a bit of a, you know, I get asked the question, what was the best, 92 or 98? You sort of go, oh, well.
What do you say? What was the best?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I did admit this year, when you look at it on paper, I have admitted it this year that 98 would have to get it. But, you know, so, but the 92 team was special.